Welcome to our Facebook Live. It is Monday, December 30th. Hard to believe. 2024 is gone already. I'm really looking forward to 2025, and I hope you are as well. And I hope you had a great holiday. And I wish you a healthy, prosperous, and successful 2025. So before we get started here, do me a favor, say hello in the comments section. Tell me who you are, where you're from, and if you have one thing maybe that gives you the most struggle with mom guilt, put that in the comment section. Now, let me just say, too, before we get started, I spent 2 weeks over Christmas sick. So I've been to urgent care twice in a week and a half. I'm finally recovering. My voice is pretty good for right now, but I have my handy cup of tea because I may have to drink some so I'm not coughing in your faces. Anyway, and I apologize in advance. I have to clear my throat or cough. Okay, before we dig into this, how you can break free from mom guilt, I want a quick announcement. So I've been talking to you guys for about a month now about the special project I've been working on. And I've been working on it for quite some time, but I'm putting it all together. It rolls out January 14th, and I'm really excited about this. It's going to focus on behavior management for children 2 to 12 years old, neurotypical. Now, that doesn't mean some of these strategies do not work with neurodivergent children, so you're welcome to join in on this, but I just want to give you that heads up. So, the people who are in the Common Sense Parenting with Pam group, and you can see the link over here on the right-hand side, you can click on that. You can join our group. Just answer a few questions. You make sure I answer them all for me, please. And this group is going to get an advance notice on what is coming. So by 7th, 8th of January, I'm releasing it to you all first. We have like 890 members in there. So I'm releasing to you all first. And then the next week, I will roll it out to everybody else. So I'm excited. Be on the lookout for it. Okay, let's get started. Now, have you ever experienced mom guilt? I don't even have to ask that question. If you're a parent, if you're a mom, I know you have. That's just normal. We all do. I mean, from the minute you have your child, or you adopt a child, or you're raising a child, you start questioning everything because you want what's best for your child, right? So, am I doing it right? Should I do it differently? Look how she's doing it. Maybe that's how I should do it. The woulda, coulda, shouldas, and everything just start happening. And it gets overwhelming. You can get just mired under all of that questioning and guilt and concern about everything. It's normal though. So we're going to talk about some of the reasons why you might have mom guilt. And feel free, like I said, to put them in the comments section of why you might be experiencing that. But we're going to talk about how you can break free from that. Because you don't have to own it. You don't have to wrap it around you like a blanket and wallow in it. It's tough. I mean, being a parent is the toughest job you will ever do. I promise you that. I've been a parent for 45 years so far. Even your children are grown and gone and out of the house, right? Mine are gone. They have children of their own. But that mom guilt, right, still lingers. Like, wow, should I have done it differently? Maybe I could have done this or should have said that. Here goes the woulda, coulda, shouldas again. Okay, and we want to avoid that for you. So we're going to talk about some reasons why you might feel guilt. And as if I'm saying these, hi Sarah, if I'm saying these, then put yes in the comment section if any of these resonate with you, because I'm going to go over them. Now, again, we have 30 minutes, so I'm going to kind of hit these quickly. But if any of those resonate with you, just say yes in the comment section. And if you're just joining in, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Tell me where you're from. Tell me who you are. All right, let's get started. So, parents often feel overwhelmed, moms especially, about how you're supposed to juggle everything you need to do with your family. I mean, everything, right? Your work, cleaning the house, grocery store, laundry, taking care of the kids, running them to events. Am I doing it right? Should I have done it differently? All those things start hitting us. So, one of them is you feel like you don't have enough quality time with your children because you're so busy taking care of everything else that has to be done that you feel overwhelmed. And like, oh, am I neglecting my children because I'm not doing time with them? I'm busy doing everything else. Balancing work and family life, you really can feel guilt about that because you're like, darned if you do and darned if you don't, right? And so moms struggle with that. Am I doing the right thing? It's overwhelming. Feeling like you're not present enough with your children because you're distracted with your phone, with work, with household chores. You feel like, hey, Robin. So that can be guilt inducing. You're like, oh my gosh, I have to get everything done, and then I don't have enough time for my kids. Or spending time away from your kids to take care of your personal needs or self-care. And I can remember when my children were little and I was totally overwhelmed. I mean, 100 miles an hour, right? Full-time job, 3 kids at that point, husband and I both working. Get up in the morning, the minute your feet hit the floor, and to the end of the day, you fall asleep exhausted, sometimes still in your clothes because you're so tired you can't even function anymore. And it's just this never-ending cycle, right? And I remember my mother saying, you need to take time for yourself. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. When am I going to have time for myself? I can't breathe during the day. I'm lucky I have time to go to the bathroom. I'm sure some of you can relate. When am I supposed to find time? But here's what I did. I started getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning because nobody else in my house was up at that time. And I would spend that first hour to myself, walking, exercising, cup of tea, doing my morning journaling. I took care of myself first, so I was better able to take care of my family. So not that you have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, but figure out time that you can do some self-care in there, okay? Hey, Brenda. Okay, so do you use screen time to not have to tend to your children, okay? And let me say that. Maybe not entertain your children. It's like, here's an iPad. Here, watch a show. Let me put the TV on for you. Okay, you do that, and then you feel guilty because you're doing that. Or you lose your patience and you yell at your children, and then you feel guilty. So any of these resonating? Any of these? Put yes in the comment section if they're resonating. Okay, then let's talk about the big decisions you have to make, these life decisions. Do I send them to public school? Do I send them to private school? Do I homeschool? What's better? What's going to work best for my child? What's going to be best for our family? Do I put them in childcare or do I stay home with them? Because if I stay home, we're not going to have enough money. We might not have as much. If I put them in childcare, I worry about the care they're going to receive. Here we go. You feel the guilt piling on? Okay. And then you get into, it starts at birth. Should I breastfeed or bottle feed? How long should I breastfeed? Why shouldn't I breastfeed? And then you start reading things or hearing things from other parents, and then you feel guilty no matter what you do. Or you discipline your child and you're worrying like, am I too harsh or am I too lenient? How do I parent? What's the best parenting style? Oh, the guilt, the guilt, the guilt, the guilt. Okay. How about you feel guilty for wanting to take a break away from your children? Does that ring a bell for anybody? And let me just tell you, that is so normal. Yes, you love your children. You would die for your children. But sometimes they get on your daggone nerves and you just need time away from them. That's legitimate and that is real. And if you're not feeling that as a parent, I'm surprised. Okay? But when you do feel that, then you feel guilty that you feel that way. How about you are comparing yourself to other parents, right? First of all, let's see what you see on social media. And let's just be honest here. A lot of that is not real. There's filters. There's, when you see these moms, and I have to laugh when I see this, they have their hair just perfect and their eyelashes and their makeup and their clothes and the house is perfect behind them, spotless, and the kids are dressed beautifully. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Yeah, maybe once in a great while, but that is not everyday life. But when you see that stuff, you start thinking, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. That's how I should look. Maybe I should dress my kids better. Maybe I'm not cleaning my house enough. Whew. Just breathe, because all that guilt gets piled on you. It's unnecessary. We're going to teach you how to stop that. Okay. Then we get into the, should I work outside the home? Because if I work outside the home, am I neglecting my children? I'm not going to see them much because by the time I get up and go to work and they go to childcare or school, and then I get home at the end of the day and cook dinner and bath and homework, I'm not really spending much time with my children. Or do I stay home with my children? And then I have a lot of time with them, but then I'm not contributing financially to the household. And then I feel guilty about that because we won't have as nice of a car, as big as a house that we need. So then you feel the guilt about that, right? Any of this sound familiar to anybody? Yeah? Put it in there. Let me know, because I'm sure some of you are resonating with this. Okay. Then you feel Maybe your child's behavior is such that you're struggling to manage the behavior and then you feel guilty. You feel guilty that you're not able to deal with all your children's struggles. Maybe they have health issues or medical issues or behavior issues or learning ability issues, and you feel guilty. Like, am I doing enough? What should I be doing? How can I help? How do I deal with that and deal with everything else I have to deal with in the house and with the other children and my marriage, right? Total overwhelming guilt. And then this one, letting your kids eat unhealthy food. Sure, go have that bag of Doritos. Sure, go ahead. Or you hit the fast food on the way home all the time because you're working all day and you're exhausted. And last thing you want to do is start cooking. I get it. So then you feel guilty because your kids aren't eating right. So more guilt is piled in. I mean, as I'm reading these, I can just feel the weight. It's like it's this energy that is just weighing you down because we take all that in and we own all that, and you don't have to own all that. Okay? So let's go to, how about this? You feel guilty because maybe you're having marital struggles or co-parenting issues, and how's that going to impact my children? Maybe you're a single parent. Maybe you're separated, divorced. Maybe you live apart from your partner because they travel a lot, or maybe they're in the military, and so they're not around all the time. And then you go, how's it impacting my children? Like, there's not a father figure in the house, and how's that going to affect my child, my son, as he's growing up? Here we go. Here it comes. More's piling on. Okay, we're almost done on these. How about you feel guilty if you miss a school event because you're at work and you can't get the time off? Or you feel guilty that maybe you're not as patient, creative, and fun as other parents are. Or you forgot to sign your child's permission slip, pack their snack, and maybe remind them to get their homework. And now, like, oh no, you're feeling guilty about that. Okay. That's a lot. And that's just some of them. I mean, that was like in 12 minutes I loaded that out on you. I know this is what it feels like because I've experienced all of this, which is why I can sit here at 66 years old, having parented 4 children for 45 years. I get it. I truly understand this. I've lived this. I've spent days where I've been driving to work crying because I'm overwhelmed. Or I locked myself in the bathroom just to get away from my kids for 10 minutes. You know what I mean? That's real. That's real. Okay, but when you have this guilt, and as I say, you own it, and you take it on, you wrap it around you, it's draining your energy, it's causing your stress, and it's impacting your parenting. All right, so we're going to talk about some strategies you can use to break free from that, to feel better about yourself, and to effectively parent, much more effectively, put it that way. Okay, first thing you have to remember is recognize that that guilt that you're feeling stems from the fact that you love your children. You want the best for them. You do anything for your children, right? And that's why you feel guilt, because you want to make sure you're doing everything perfectly. We can just stop right there, because there's no such thing as a perfect parent. Don't delude yourself and don't believe what you see on social media. There's no such thing as a perfect parent. That's like a unicorn. They don't exist. So you need to let go of that pressure you put on yourself to be perfect. Your children will survive, I promise you that. Okay? And you need to focus on the big picture. Your goal as a parent is to raise your children to be kind, loving, productive adults, contributing members of society. That's the big picture. That's where you need to keep your focus. There are going to be days you stumble, but that's not going to define your parenting, right? Focus on that big picture. Okay. Hey, Debbie, just coming in, and Frankie. Okay. Journal. So here's what I want you to do. Every day, write down one thing you did well as a parent. Now, don't just think it. Don't just say it to yourself. Put it in your phone notes. Write it in a journal. One thing you did well as a parent. Because now you're shifting your focus from what you're not doing, what you feel guilty about, to, hey, you know what? I did this today, and that was pretty awesome. Pat yourself on the back. And I can tell you, I started journaling. Every morning I do my morning stuff, and I call it morning study time. One of the things I do every morning, one of the first things I do is write 5 things I'm thankful for, okay? And I was cleaning out nightstand drawers this past week to getting rid of the clutter for the new year. And I literally found journals I had from 2016. They may have gone back even further, but that's the most recent one I found, or the most oldest one, 2016. I've been journaling going on 9 years, every single morning. And when you look back on that, and you're like, wow, wow, look at that. It really changes your attitude. So, one thing that you have done well as a parent every single day, write that down. That's easy. Take just 10 seconds. Okay, practice gratitude. Shift from feeling guilty to feeling thankful. So, you're writing one thing you did, you did well, but then what are you thankful for as a parent? Are you thankful that you have children? Are you thankful that they're wonderful children? And they're kind and they're loving? I mean, whatever it is, write what you're thankful for. Again, we're flipping that gratitude, right? We're flipping to gratitude instead of guilt. Guilt weighs you down. That gratitude lifts you up. And this is what we want, okay? Hopefully you're going to have an even balance here. You're not always going to have lots of guilt or lots of guilt. Sometimes it's just going to be like this, and that's okay. All right? But start somewhere. Okay, now if you're like me, I'm a list person. I mean, I have lists like all over the place. Okay, I'm a list person. And if you're like me, I put a lot of things on my list. So we got to get realistic here. So you put a lot of things on your list, and then you don't get them all done for the day. And you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't get them all done. Then you feel guilty because you didn't get them all done. Here's what I want you to do. Make your list. Knock yourself out. I love lists. But before you start the day, knock half of that stuff off. Unless it is essential, absolutely has to be done, knock it off. You're stressing yourself out. You're making yourself feel guilty you don't get it done. There's no need to do that. Okay? You might have to put it off for another day. You might not do it all together. You might realize it's just not that important. And think about this. Say you get up, you have your day plan, you have your list, you know what you're going to do, and then something happens. Your child's sick, say for instance. Poof, throws off your whole day, right? Because, oh my God, what am I going to do? Breathe. Focus on what is important in that moment. That's where you put your energy. Okay. And then plan quality time with your children, even 10 to 15 minutes with your child. Just undivided attention can make a difference. And I had a follower on Instagram last week message me and say, my 2-year-old's hitting and she won't stop. And I put her in timeout and we tell her to stop. And what do? And we went back and forth a little bit. And turns out they have a newborn baby. And the 2-year-old's hitting the baby. And I said, well, clearly she's seeking attention. So just spend some one-on-one time with her. Remove her when she's hitting the baby, but then spend some one-on-one time with her. Make her feel special. Okay? And apologize when needed. If you've lost your temper and you've yelled at your children, it's okay to say, you know what, I'm sorry. I was angry and it doesn't give me the right to yell at you. I'm sorry. Because guess what that teaches your children? That you're human, that you make mistakes, and that you're accountable for owning up, right? And that's something you want to teach them. In fact, that's the next podcast episode that is rolling out tomorrow in our 10 foundational skills. That's number 8. We're almost done with that series. It's on teaching your children accountability, and you need to model it for them. Okay? And then, for goodness sake, talk to other mothers. You're not alone in this, right? There are other moms that are feeling just like you do every single day. Talk to them. Ask them how they deal with it, what strategies they use, how do they handle things. Get that support. And if you need a break, it's okay to say you need a break. Talk to family, to friends. Say to your neighbor, hey, I'll watch your kids 2 hours tomorrow morning and you watch mine 2 hours the next day. Give yourselves a break. I know people that hire babysitters to come into their house for 4 hours one morning a week that they have time to themselves. And people go, wow, that seems like really over the top or selfish. No, it's not. That's brilliant. That's an investment in you because then you can invest in your family. You're in a more healthy position to do that, okay? Give yourself grace because it's hard. Like I said, parenting is the hardest thing you will ever do in your life. Give yourself grace. You're not going to be perfect all the time. You're human. You make mistakes. The children will survive and so will you. It's okay. And then focus on celebrating the steps that are successful, that you're doing well. Instead of focusing on the negative, again, we're shifting this to what am I doing well? And celebrate those things. Be proud of yourself. It's okay. It's all right. And then use affirmations. You can say, you know what? I'm doing the best I can today. That's all. I'm doing the best I can today. I will tell you, my mother lived with us for 2.5 years. She had dementia, and it was like having a toddler. Now, I have my own business, so I had caregivers come in from 9 to 2 every day. But after that, that was me. I was the caregiver for the rest of the time till the morning. It was overwhelming, and it was exhausting. And I would say, Lord, give me strength. Lord, just give me strength. And then I would say, you know what? Nope, I've got the strength. Thank you. You see how I flipped that? Instead of going, I would say, you know what? I've got this. And I just keep powering through. Okay? One thing too I want you to do is if you're feeling guilt, try to identify why. What's the root cause? What's triggering it? So say, for example, you're letting your children use devices so that you don't have to entertain them. But then you feel guilty because your children are on devices too much. We all know that is not healthy for your children, especially young children. So what do? Well, you limit their screen time. You make the choice to limit their screen time. They can go outside and play. They can entertain themselves. I mean, I grew up without social media. We didn't have devices, and guess what? We all survived. We all survived. In fact, I think we were better off, quite honestly, than a lot of the kids today as far as their addiction to screens. So they'll adapt, right? But put little steps into place that can ease some of that stress and guilt that you feel. Set boundaries. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. As women, here's what we do. So I'm sorry. Would you like to help with the fundraiser at school? Could you help at church? Sure. Could you watch my dog for me tomorrow? Oh, yes. We do that to ourselves, and then we get overwhelmed, and we feel guilty because we're not taking care of what we need to take care of, right? But here's what I want you to do. I want you to go, no. 2 words, 2 letters. No. You can say, no, thank you. I had a friend one time say to me, hey, do you want to do this with me? And I said, no. And she said, just no? And I said, yeah, just no. No, I'm sorry. Why would I be sorry? I didn't want to do it. I'm not sorry. It's like, as women, we need to stop apologizing all the time for everything. That's a whole nother subject. But I would say no. Now, let me tell you, not meanly, I would just say no. So let me tell you this. My husband's a psychologist, and for 6 years I ran his practice. And his office was down the hall. And I'd be working away. I'm scheduling clients. I'm, doing charts and billing and everything else. He'd come walking in my office. He'd start to say, hey, could you do this for me? And I would do this. And you need to get yourself one of these. It's the no pen. I showed you guys this before, but watch. Yeah, no. I would literally, the door would open, and I'd go like this, and I would just start pushing the button until he'd go, okay, I'm out. I didn't apologize. I didn't say I'm sorry. I just did. I didn't even talk. I got this off Amazon. It's called the No Pen. I think it was like $6 or something. Get yourself one. You need to be able to say no to people. You don't have to do everything for everybody and then feel guilty about it. Just say no. It's okay. Okay. And then make self-care a priority. So you do need to spend some time with yourself, for yourself. Whether you go to the gym, you have a hobby, you just go off to have a drink with friends, dinner, lunch, whatever. You need to make time for yourself. Okay? And then remember, oh good, all these people coming in. It's good to see you all. Just put yes in the comments section if any of this is resonating with you, what I'm saying about the guilt that you feel. Just put yes, so I know I just want you to know you're not alone, basically, okay? All right. And just remember this. Your children know you love and care for them. They don't understand. They don't think they're lacking. You think you're not doing things. They don't even notice the difference in most cases, I'll tell you. And I can remember my mother saying to me one time, oh, I was grown, married, kids of my own. Oh, I just feel so bad when you were kids, I did this or that. And I'm like, Mom, I don't remember that. What are you talking about? I didn't, to her it was this big deal. And we're like, no, we don't remember that, Mom. So take that pressure off yourself. Hopefully you're starting to feel a little bit lighter with some of these ideas of things that you can do. Yep, see, yes, I hear you. I'm with you on that one. Okay, and you have to remember something. If your children are thriving, you're doing something right. So focus on that, right? They're not going to be happy every day. They don't have to be happy every day, and they shouldn't. You should not bend over backwards to make your children happy every day because you're setting them up for trouble when you do that. But what I'm saying is, if they're thriving, you're doing something right. So celebrate that. It's okay. Let go of some of that guilt. Start releasing that. And then think long term on this. So remind yourself that one bad day doesn't define you as a parent. We've all had those bad days. We've all had those days we've lost it on our kids. Or we're like, if I don't get away from these children, I'm going to snap in a second. We've all had those days. That's normal. But that doesn't define who you are as a parent. That's just an isolated incident. So let go of those things that you feel are burdening you down and causing you guilt. And guess what? If you have all that guilt on you, you're allowing that. I mean, I don't know how else to say that. You're owning that. You don't have to own all that guilt. You just do the best job you can as a parent. If you need help, take courses, take classes, go on YouTube, Google it, talk to friends, get support. Go to a therapist if you need a therapist. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And, especially since everything now is virtual, right? With my mother living with us, talk about stress. Talk about stress. I finally got a therapist. And for 3 years, every week we talked. And it was just such a nice way for me to just unburden myself of all the guilt I felt of caring for my mother, trying to work, take care of my mother, make sure all her needs were being met. Was she getting the right medicine? Was she getting the right treatments? What do I need to do for her? Whew. It's exhausting. So seek help. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's self-care, by the way. So take advantage of it. Okay, so we got 4 minutes left here. Let me go in and see if there's any questions. Hello. Grandmas have guilt too. I know. I'm a grandma. I know. I get it. Yeah, I just always. It's like I think I remember when I had my oldest son, like when he's born, then like guilt just comes right with it. Because then you're questioning everything their whole lives. And that's a lot to take on. Okay, so Robin, you Texas, and a 2-year-old from CPS had her 18 months and we're old. Well, Robin, if it makes you feel any better, I had my last child when I was 42, almost 43. So my children, oldest and youngest, are 21 years apart. So yeah, that was old. I'm 66 and she's now 24. So, okay. Hello, Debbie, Frankie, Michelle, Kayla. Yeah, true. I'm glad. Yes. Okay. Hi, Joy. Hi, Marion, Debbie. Yes, you guys are feeling this, aren't you? Hi, Philomena from Zambia. Awesome. Idaho, Barbara from Idaho. Yeah, grandmas have guilt too. And like I said, it's just part of being a parent. But we have to take steps to stop carrying that around with us because it does become a burden. It does stress you out. It does cause you to get frustrated and overwhelmed. And then that impacts your parenting. So give yourself a break. Give yourself grace. Take deep breaths. Do what you have to do to stop carrying that all around with you because it's not helpful. It actually affects your health. It affects your physical and mental health too, and we don't want that for anybody. So, okay, here we go. Hi, Angela. Hey, girl. All right. Angela's a friend of mine from a long time ago. We go way back. Okay, Sarah, your son has ADHD and having a hard time at school. I feel guilty about that. I get you on that one. And you try to help him at home, and it feels like I'm failing him. So you feel guilty about that. And he's not, oh, boy, bless you, honey. I'm just sending you hugs because I totally can relate to that in more ways than you know. And I don't share a lot of personal background with my children and things, but trust me, I can totally relate to what you're saying right there. It's guilt. It's never-ending guilt. The only thing you can do is the best that you can do in that moment, in that day. And then you can next day learn something and do better. It's progress, it's process. So go easy on yourselves. Okay. Hey, Linda. I wonder if you're going to show up, girl. I'm glad you're here. You can watch the replay if you haven't watched it. Okay. I think I got them all, but this will go up on the website this afternoon. And as soon as we're done, this will pop back up on my Facebook page. So if you hopped in the middle of it, you can go back and watch it. And because I only had 30 minutes and I did this pretty quickly, I'm going to do an expanded version of this. It'll be in a mini guide format. It'll be part of the new project that I'm rolling out. So that's going to include things like extended podcast episodes, because, I just do my podcast episodes at 15, 20 minutes, right? And so I'm going to do extended podcast episodes. There'll be ebooks and tip sheets and courses and webinars and one-on-one with parents and Q&A times and guest interviews, just a lot of good things to help you all help yourselves with managing behavior with your children. So, all right, I'm going to head out now. It is almost 12:45. So until then, hope you have a happy and prosperous new year. And till next week, remember, hug and love your babies. Bye, y'all.